What's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at a really bright and awesome AI-packed floodlight camera from the guys at Reolink, and this is going to be their Elite Wi-Fi floodlight. Now, unlike some other cameras that you might see on the market, this actually does have 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, so you can get that stable and very fast connection to your camera. So when you need to check out your recordings, it's going to happen pretty much instantaneously. The Elite Floodlight camera has a bunch of standout features from some other competitors on the market, and number one is brightness. And this thing gets super bright, guys, up to 3000 lumens, so you're definitely going to be able to illuminate the entire area that you're trying to protect. Not only is it really bright, but you can also change the color temperature of the light. So here's that 6000K warmth, and then you also have the 3000K warmth, which is going to be more of your warm lighting type of situation. And of course, you can slide the slider, which I'll show you in just a little bit, to kind of get in between any of these color temperatures there. Now, another couple features that I really like about this floodlight, of course, it's got AI, because what good floodlight camera these days does not? So it's going to recognize people, animals, and cars as well. Now, other than that, if we get really up close and personal, you can see you have 2 lenses right on the front, so you can get that beautiful, clear 4K footage. But it also means that the field of view is 180 degrees, which basically eliminates any blind spots. And the floodlight cameras here can be in search for terrestrials, alien life forms, if you wanted to place them up into the skies. Or of course, you can kind of rotate them any which way you want, and again, illuminate the areas that you need to get illuminated. With any great floodlight camera, there's a couple adjustable modes as well, so you can have the floodlights illuminate from dusk till dawn. And when it is on with dusk till dawn and you do have motion detection enabled, it's going to give you a much brighter light when something is detected. Speaking of installation, you can hardwire this into a junction box, or of course you can just plug it in with an AC cord. I actually like this from Reolink. They give you a pretty cool cable that if you didn't have any sort of hard wiring situation available, but you do have an outdoor plug, or you have a plug at the top of your shed, you can always just use this to kind of get power to the Elite camera here. Before we go ahead and set up the camera, overall the housing is very sturdy. It's a weatherproof housing once again, and you do have these floodlights that rotate, so you can definitely spot them where you need to spot them. So you can see they basically go all over the place depending on where you need the spotlight to go. And of course, everybody's installation is going to be different. So they do provide multiple ways that you can either rotate the camera or rotate these spotlights to get that perfect viewing angle. Having an SD card built into the camera means that even if Wi-Fi goes out, you're still going to be able to get local recording. And that's definitely a plus, because we all know that Wi-Fi does drop from time to time. But there is a separate hub that you can purchase to enable LAN recordings if that's what you wanted to do. And if you have multiple cameras, I would probably suggest that you do that. I'll throw a whole bunch of links down in my description as well. So let's go ahead, check out this floodlight camera together and see what it's all about.
Welcome to Reolink. Please install Reolink app and scan the QR code on the camera.
Opening up the Reolink application, I just want to go over some of the settings that I find most useful when it comes to setting up your camera. Now, there's a lot of settings in here, and I suggest you just kind of go through it and see what works best for your situation. Some of the things that I think work best for just about everybody is the fact that you can see a live view of your camera from anywhere in the world as long as you have internet access. So right now this is a live view, and you can zoom in on that live view if you need to. You can scroll around and kind of peek around corners and see what needs to be done. Like I have to kind of patch that little crack in the hole right there, but this is my entryway, so you can see I'm getting up close and personal. And of course we can zoom out. Now if you see something on the camera that you want to quickly take a snapshot of, you are able to do so, and that's going to save to your photo gallery. And the same goes for instantaneously recording footage. So if you see something on your live view, maybe it's just a cool animal that's passing by, you can quickly just start a recording. There are a couple other features like a two-way microphone, so you can have a conversation with the person on the other end. Great for package delivery or something like that. If you needed to have a conversation with somebody, you're able to do so. If we take a look at some of the settings here, I'm just going to go over some that I think are worth mentioning. Under display, you have something that's called Privacy Mask. Now, Privacy Mask is great because it allows you to block out certain parts of the footage from being recorded. So for example, let's say on this left corner, I had my pool, and maybe I didn't want to have any of my family members being recorded while they're jumping in the pool and doing their thing. I could block out that entire section from being recorded. And maybe on the right side here, this is where my neighbors are. I could block out that portion as well because I don't need to record them when they wake up and grab the paper or put out the garbage. So I really like the Privacy Mask feature. That's just a great overall feature. And as you can see here, you can add up to 4 privacy masked zones. And this is great as well, again, just for your own privacy as well as privacy for others. Under advanced as well, you do have image stitching. Again, these are 2 cameras that are being stitched together to give you that 180-degree field of view. So if you wanted to fine tune that stitching, you could go ahead and do that under the advanced settings. Sounds is pretty simple, but what I like about these settings in sound is the fact that we do have noise reduction. And noise reduction definitely comes in handy if you have a noisy backyard or whatever. So just take a little bit of a sample when it comes to what the noise reduction can do. One thing that I really like about this camera is the fact that we get noise reduction. So I'm going to change that right now and let you know what it sounds like, because I'm actually in a very busy environment. So now I have turned off noise reduction, guys. This is what it's going to sound like without any noise reduction. Noise reduction is definitely cool, am I right? Now under lights, you have a bunch of settings. So status LED, you can choose to enable or disable that little light on the front of the camera. Under floodlight, there's a lot of different settings that you can choose from. Again, there's that brightness toggle and there's the color temperature toggle that I showed you earlier on in the video there. So really fine tuning this and setting up that dusk till dawn feature or just leaving the lights off until motion is detected is something you can do with these floodlight settings within the application. Detection alarm, similar to privacy zone. You can also create a zone where you don't want to receive alerts about. This is great once again if you notice that, your driveway, the outer edges of your driveway is being detected. So I like the fact that you can create a non-detection zone, and that also goes great for say neighbors or anything like that. Again, it's all intended to kind of fine-tune this camera to get it to do what you want to do. And motion mark is what I showed you as well, just kind of clearly marks a person, a vehicle, or a pet as well. Here's your sensitivity alarms. Again, there's a lot of different settings here to remove those false positives. Under camera recordings, there's a lot of different settings for your camera recordings as well. And all of your push notifications, you can have it set up to get you the alerts that you need when something is detected. The time lapse is really cool. Now I wish I could show you time lapse, but my camera is not really placed in an area where time lapse would actually produce any stunning footage. But if you have a beautiful backyard and you just want to get a time lapse of sunset or sunrise or that really cool winter storm that's coming through, you could do that. And I applaud Reolink for including a time lapse feature there. File encryption is huge, guys. It has an SD card inside. If someone steals the camera or the card, you don't want them to get access to that footage. So being able to encrypt it is something that, again, I applaud Reolink for, because I haven't seen this on a lot of cameras. File encryption, definitely way to go when it comes to file encryption. And then finally, some people do ask me this, hey, what happens when your micro SD card gets filled? Well, it basically just gets overwritten, so you can have the camera just overwrite those older files and write it with new files. Micro SD cards are pretty cheap these days, and I find that 32 is probably enough for most people. If you want to up your game, again, up to 512 is the max when it comes to the SD card. But now it's time to take a look at some footage. So if we click on that playback feature right at the bottom, let's click on a day that was in the past here. You can see all of your footage right on the bottom. Now let's just go ahead and check out Times Square together. And you can see here, guys, that yes, this is marking everything perfectly fine. You can see it's recognizing all of the people that are walking by, all of the cars that are driving by as well. If the Reolink camera can protect Times Square, it can definitely protect your backyard. I think I just found my tagline. Yes, the Reolink camera is one of the best when it comes to protecting you from any intruders that might cross upon your path. You can also zoom in. So if we wanted to zoom in, you can see that it's doing a good job, a decent job of allowing you to read text that's pretty far away there. Now again, this is Times Square. There's a lot going on, and it's doing a great job of recognizing all of these people once again. And you still can read those signs pretty clearly. If you take a look there, if you needed to, you could definitely read some of those signs. And there's Santa hustling some people on one of those pedicabs. If you come to New York, definitely get a price up front, because otherwise they will cost a huge fortune, up to $15 a minute. One area that needs a little bit of improvement is going to be the AI search, and it should work decently, but in my testing it hasn't really worked. So if we search for white car, with a vehicle. I'm sure there was plenty of white cars that passed by Times Square. It says nothing was found. And if we do the same thing, let's just type in maybe woman. Oops. We'll switch that to person. Nothing was found right there. Now let's try, it says person with red clothing as an example. Let's type in person with black clothing. Do a search. And that's a gray sweatshirt that I have on. And you can see it's not really finding anything really of relevance. So this needs a little bit of work. I'm not going to lie. Don't really rely on AI video search to do what it's supposed to do right at the moment. And the same with vehicle. We saw a lot of trucks that passed. Let's go ahead and type in truck. And nope, it didn't really find anything. Now I'd assume this is still in its infancy, and Reolink probably will update this just a little bit later on. But let's head out to the backyard and check out what the nighttime footage was, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the floodlight camera. This is about 10 feet away. What's going on? No stealers. 10 feet away right now. 15 feet away. 15 feet away. Now I can see myself coming back at the 3. What's going on? So overall, this is a really impressive camera. I love the noise reduction as well. Now it's time to turn off the lights and see how it does at night. Man, that's bright. Lights up the entire space. And now this is with the bright white color temperature. So you guys can see with the bright light. And this is at its brightest. The entire deck is lit up. And now this is with just a little bit less. This is about 1/3 brightness. But it still is illuminating a lot of my space here. This is one bright light. Now let's check out the distance to see when it actually triggers the motion detection. So I have the ambient light setting on, and again, this is going to be dusk till dawn, which still illuminates the area very nicely. And it's going to allow people to know that, hey, I got some lights here, I got a camera protection, and I am about 35 feet away at the moment. So let's see if we can see when this is going to trigger. So there we go. I am now standing about 15 to 20 feet away, and that's when it detected the motion. I have it on high sensitivity. Of course, you can lower that sensitivity if you want, but I'm really impressed with this camera. Not super loud, but hey, it'll do. All right, guys, so I'm right in front of it. It's raining. Again, protection from the weather means this is a great outdoor floodlight. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm only about 6 feet away, maybe 7 feet away from this camera. Let's head back a little bit. Now we're about 20 feet, 15 feet away. That's been a review of the Reolink Elite Floodlight camera, and I think it's an excellent smart Wi-Fi camera. If you're looking for something to put over your garage or in the backyard, this is definitely something I would recommend. If you have any questions about it, let me know down in the comments below. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you in another video.